everybody, long time no see. This is Big Iron Show 2024 and this is the 44th anniversary for this show. So it's been a while and we want to introduce you to
Tyrell. Yep.
Tyrell.
Very nice to meet you.
Pleasure is all mine. And what do you guys do here? Like, what is your booth about?
Okay, well, this is an opportunity for us to get our faces and our equipment out into the public. We work a wide variety of shows throughout North America, both in Canada and the United States. So it's a great opportunity for us to mingle with customers. Dealers come by too. Our manufacturer is similar to that of, say, Case IH or John Deere, where you have a manufacturing company that is in partnership with dealerships. And in our case, we've got a Canadian division and a United States division. And through those dealerships, they market and support the equipment that Brandt produces. We have a couple different divisions. And so there's a couple different dealership groups that support. Brandt has had its start in the grain handling industry. As you can see, our booth has a wide variety of equipment, or maybe some cleanup work, some field equipment such as grain carts, land rollers, high-speed discs. But it all started with the grain handling business, and our company has grown into many different areas to the point where we also now have highway trailers, both for light duty pickup trucks as well as semi trailers. That's something that's new this time for this year, so we're very excited about that. But we also have other divisions that work with construction attachment equipment, as well as, I believe, some areas with specialty industries, whether it's mining, forestry, pipeline, that sort of thing.
Oh.
So there's a
variety.
It's just astounding the business that Brandt has turned into.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, well, I see it's a lot. Let's take a closer look. What would you like to start with?
Okay, well, let's just make a lap, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that.
This is our, what we call a land roller. And this this implement you use in the field generally to take care of the surface of your fields. A couple different applications behind it. One of the main concerns are rocks. Every springtime when the frost comes out of the ground, generally large rocks will encroach upon the surfaces, which can have some damaging effects on implements as well as combine headers as well. Here in the Red River Valley, there's a lot of soybeans, and we have to be very particular with how close to the ground we are cutting to make sure that we are maximizing yield coming into the combines. And because the headers are so low, they run a risk of having some damage with rocks. So this machine, you just roll it on the ground, extremely heavy drums that will keep the rocks pressed down into the soil, so that way they don't encroach up into the range. Also has some smoothing capabilities too. You don't want to be running over years and years of ruts and rough patches. We have quite a wide variety. This is actually our smallest land roller.
Is this the smallest? It's a baby.
This is the smallest one. Yep. So.
Imagine how big it looks like.
Yep. This one, as you can see, the model number is 351A. That's a 51-footer, 3-section land roller. We also have units that are up to 91 foot, but they're 5-section. So you have a center section and then 2-section of land rollers on the wings. So this is in its field operating position. You can see the transport tire wheels are raised up, so that way they're out of the way. We want them raised up all the way to make sure that in case you have any trees or fence lines, that you're not encroaching on those barriers.
Wow, and you guys build it all here in?
We have a couple factories. Most of our manufacturing is in Regina, Saskatchewan.
Oh.
It's about 3 hours north of Minot, North Dakota.
There, yeah.
Okay, pretty large town in Saskatchewan. Very huge industrial powerhouse up there. A lot of agriculture, but a lot of different industry as well.
Right.
Our agricultural products, for the most part, all come from Regina, Saskatchewan. We have a couple factory locations there, but some specific products like our grain carts are produced in Bloomington, Illinois, a suburb of Bloomington actually called Hudson, and all our trailers are manufactured out of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, which is, I believe, just an hour down the road from Saskatchewan, from Regina.
Yeah. I've been there too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So and the augers.
Okay. Yep. So we have. I'll kind of touch on the grain handling equipment for bin farmers, bin sites. So we have equipment to load product that coming from the field into the bins. That we will need longer equipment to reach the top, such as all the bins that are set up to be able to have that reach. And then we also have smaller units like this conveyor that you see behind us that we will position at the base of it to then load to trucks, so that way they can truck it to the grain terminals to send it to market. So Brandt offers
kind of a dual, right? So
it's kind of got a dual purpose. We have a main auger section, but then that appendage that is rigged up in transport position, that's a swingway. So as a semi truck drives up to it, there's hydraulic or electric motors, or there's some that can be outfitted with nothing. Then you just have to push it by hand. That will swing out underneath the trailer, so that way there is enough clearance for the trailer to get through. So when the unit's rigged down, the trailer would dump into that hopper intake. It gets augered up into the boot at the base of the auger, and in its elevated position, it would carry it up to the top.
Yeah, that feels very solid.
Yes, absolutely. Very, very stable system. We employ a cable truss system to help reinforce the tubes, and you will notice a slight bend on it as it carries up, because that way, as grain fills it, you'll have more of a load on this, so it straightens it down to ensure that everything is running smoothly. But I mentioned about we have augers and we have conveyors.
Right. These are like, what is capacity for something like this?
So this 13-inch auger would be able to move 11,000 bushels an hour. A semi truck will hold usually 1,000 to 1,100 bushels. So we hook up with a power takeoff shaft on the end of it with a tractor, and that will drive the whole thing. We got dual output shafts at the base of it, so there's chain drive in here, so there's a separate drivetrain for the swingway, and this attaches directly to the auger flight to carry the grain from the boot all the way up to the discharge.
So if somebody wants to buy something like that, are they contacting your dealer for the pricing, or you have prices online? How does that work?
Our dealerships have all the pricing available. Throughout the year, we have special promos on certain. They usually drop at the beginning of the month, so our dealers are kept in the loop. We have a very good communication program. The dealership has access to a wealth of information on our portal too, so they'd be able to get the answers quickly, and we can keep in touch with those folks too. On our website, www.brandt.ca. Since a Canadian server, it has a .ca domain name. We do have dealer locators, and we have all the information for all this equipment that you see here and so much more. So a person can do some research before they make that next step and make a phone call and take the next step to find themselves their next Brandt product.
Right. Yeah, and a trailer. How did you guys got into trailers? It's something what you been receiving requests about. What is particularly your trailer serving for? I see it's a very low.
Yep.
Yep.
So with our trailers, Brandt is very, I would say, knowledgeable and resourceful with what the market trends are looking at, and we have a wide amount of resource. I can't thank our engineers enough for the ingenuity that they have, the ideas they can come up with, the feedback that we receive from the market, whether it's our farmers or our truck drivers or construction operators for those other divisions that I mentioned before. And if we see an opportunity, we'll certainly look into it and and the heavy haul business has definitely been one of those aspects that we wanted to get into. You might have seen these trailers throughout Canada for a while, but since Canada and the United States has different regulations, it took a little bit of time for us to make sure that we had all our T's crossed and I's dotted to ensure that everything was okay here in the United States, and here we are. This is our second year with heavy haul trailers and our utility trailers that are behind us.
Yeah, I see. I can see how thick the metal is, and I can feel that this is designed to work in like severe weathers and carry like true heavy machinery.
Yes, and for a long time too. We pride ourselves on longevity of the product too. And it's in the details with it too. How well it can handle the job on day one. We expect it to handle that job for many years to come. I'll touch back on since I'm an agricultural products member by trade. We have a powder coat painting process that allows us to have a superb final finish on the paint. And there have been augers out there that if you look at the serial number, it's a unit that's probably 5 or 6 years old. It looks pristine, almost like day one, you know, and that's a very important aspect to a lot of customers to ensure the condition of their machines.
Yeah, I see. It's a lot of like safety signs, everything very precise.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, clean and clear. So you definitely can understand each step of the way very clearly. Okay, it's like transporter for the grain?
Yes, yep. So this is what we call a grain deck. Commonly in the industry, they consider this a drive-over deck. Right. So it's in its transport position now, where a person would be able to pull it down the road, but you can hook this up to a tractor and run hydraulics, so those hydraulic cylinders can retract to drop the platform down. And whereas we have swing away augers on this unit to maneuver the intake underneath the truck, a person is able to drive over this platform to position his trailer over it. There is a handle over here that I could activate, and it creates almost like a pit, a dump pit. So that way you channel grain onto the platform up the tube, and it's got a very small height to it, but that's going to leg into a different handling system. Whether they're using an auger, but a lot of grain terminals already have legs built into their facilities, and they're just trying to transload from a truck into their system. So this can be an effective tool they can use to get to that next level in the journey on its way to the grain bins on site there. So this unit is hydraulically driven. So like I said, there's hydraulic jacks to lower the platform, but this set of lines is used to drive the hydraulic motor. So doesn't need to have a tractor like we have PTO drive on this auger. Bobcat or skid steer attachments that do have auxiliary hydraulics on there could power this machine fine too. So there's quite a different variety of options that will suit needs. A lot of equipment can also be electrically driven, so if you have the right power at your site, a lot of guys could have either single phase or 3-phase power up here. They'd be able to utilize electricity on site rather than having a vehicle altogether.
Huh, pretty cool.
Since I touched on the conveyors real quick, I'll touch on the field belt. This is a very unique product that we have, and I will say probably, dare I say, the crown jewel of Brandt. It seems like every farmer has one of these, and it's a very popular item. It's used for loading out the grain bins. Like I mentioned, where we're using augers and conveyors to load the bin, this will be used to empty the bins and go into the trucks. And this is a self-contained unit. You don't need a tractor. You don't need any other vehicle to power it. There is a gas-powered engine enclosed on it that will drive the conveyor belt, and there's a hydraulic mover system on here that allows you to maneuver it around, so you don't have to push anything by hand, and it's quite versatile.
And this is like, it's still a bit smaller than this one, right? It's like 10 inch?
Yep, this has a 10-inch tube, but the unique thing about this machine with the conveyor belt is because it can flex up. So as it goes through this transition, it actually folds up and goes into play. So this unit, since it's a conveyor belt, we rate this for, I believe, 9,000 bushels an hour. It does have different performance characteristics versus an auger, because with a conveyor, you have to keep into consideration the fact that the belt has to essentially grab onto the kernel and carry it through. And because you're also fighting gravity, what goes up must come down. As the steeper you go with a conveyor belt, the more tendency some grain may be able to roll back. There's a terminology that we use called the angle of repose, and that's generally used in a variety of material handling applications. It doesn't have to be just grain, but also any sort of dirt or aggregate, where the size and the weight of that particle, whether it's a sunflower seed or a corn kernel or a piece of rock gravel, when you start piling, they start spreading at a certain angle, and we consider that the angle of repose. So for wheat crop versus corn, they have different angles of repose, and that's kind of the limit where you could start seeing the effects of gravity, where grain starts sliding against the direction travel of the belt. So,
Hey, this belt, I mean, quite unusual thing, but the thing,
this little switch through here. Yep, so in Brandt's design, there's a set of rollers in here. As the belt comes through, it rolls across this top roller and then goes through this second roller down here, and that's the anchor point that it uses to run the belt up. So from that point up, it's just curled up into that position. We don't have any rollers that accommodate the belt in that curled position. So that bottom roller anchors it after it makes that transition, and the next time it sees another roller is at the top, where it then flattens out again, dumps the grain through the downspout, and then takes the return trip down. And that's where the drive roller is, that's connected to the gas engine, and loops back down through, comes back, and just up here above the gas drive system, we have what we call the Easy Track system, and that will ensure that the belt is properly tensioned. Some manufacturers have a manual adjustment where they are actually using a wrench to set the tension on here. We have a decal on there, and as long as you're in the green, then you know that your belt has sufficient traction. If the belt's too loose, then the drive roller, which also has a rubber surface, is not properly engaging against the belt surface and could start slipping and wearing. If the belt is too tight, then that could be causing strain on where that lacing is as well.
perfect. And I see this cart is huge.
Oh yes, she is something, isn't
She is. She's got a soul, right?
Yes, she does. So may seem a little peculiar that we have something green on our lot in a sea of blue, but we have this is another thing that we listen to our customers and what they look for, and they say, hey, I want a grain cart that will match my tractor. So we do offer at Brandt, of course, the classic blue color, as well as red and green, and also a very sharp looking black color. It's not completely jet black, but just enough, almost I would say similar to that gooseneck trailer, is more of a darker gray. And with our decals and how it all shades out, it looks so nice.
Yeah, it looks very pretty.
So,
and I like this window. It's like a statement right there.
oh yes, and that is for being able to see what's going on inside the tub, as well as being able to see what's going on behind it. We do incorporate a small little window on the back end of the grain cart, so that way as you are traversing down the roads, you would be able to have a direct line of sight vantage point in case there's any traffic that's going behind you. Of course, we can only go so fast down the road with our tractors, and it's definitely slower than what most vehicles will go.
Right.
So this will ensure that you can make sure everyone stays safe and gets home to their families at night.
Right, and it holds like a regular amount, about 1,000 bushels or?
We have varying sizes. This particular model is our 1600 DXT model. So this one is rated for 1600 bushel capacity. We have a wide variety of sizes ranging from 1100 bushel all the way up to 2500 bushel. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
You know, and to think that a semi truck can carry about 1,000 to 1,100 bushels.
Right.
So,
what do you carry it with?
what's that?
What do you use as a power?
Big tractor. Big tractor. Yep. The bigger the better, we always say.
Right.
And we have options. This particular model has a 24-inch unload auger. That is an upgraded variety. We do still have what we typically use was a 22-inch diameter auger to unload. But I know that the 24-inch is rated for 6,000 bushels. Oh, I'm going to mess this up. I think 6,000 bushels an hour.
It is about the right.
It's one of those things where you got to be paying attention when you're filling the truck.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty quick, huh?
Yes. It's almost like a NASCAR pit crew. So when we're in the field, there's a hydraulic cylinder to fold this over, so that way there's not a large amount of material that is out hanging and causing strain on the frame. So there's also a secondary hydraulic cylinder that could help tilt this, so that way you can get the easiest performance with unloading the truck, plus a 4-way opposable spout, so that way you can move grain and shoot it into the proper corner, so you can get a nice consistent fill. I see you discovered one of our unique aspects of our grain carts. So we have a different model that's a little bit smaller that serves a range of 800 to 1,500 bushel. It's a completely different design, but that was the first one where we had a ground access door. So if you had to service anything in this machine, granted it has to be empty, of course,
Right.
but instead of having to use the ladders to jump up, swing over, and enter inside, which can always present a safety hazard.
Right.
We have simple ground access where you can get up there and make any changes, save a little bit of wear and tear on our bodies, and just make things easier. And right behind you, this is one of our finer options too, to have tracks. Tracks on any sort of agriculture equipment will help ensure
Don't get stuck.
well, don't get stuck, particularly when you are, say, a tractor has tracks on it, not getting stuck. But this ensures that the weight of the machine is distributed across a wider footprint versus tires.
Okay, and this is
what we call a grain vac. Some areas of the country call them grain vacuulators. But this is used also as a means of taking grain out of grain bins and loading into trucks. Not always do we have a system in the grain bin that would be able to get all the material in the bin. A lot of operators have a flat bin, and they have augers that are incorporated into it to get most grain out of the floor. But in cases where you need to basically vacuum the floors,
right.
then we have this supercharged grain vac to do the job. It doesn't take a lot of horsepower compared to, say, our augers or our grain carts. We need about anywhere between 100 to 130 horsepower, but this is, I'd say a 2-stage type machine that incorporates both suction power and an auger to get the job done. So on one side of the machine you have hoses that can plug into this opening here, and we can run those hoses out to the grain bin. We try to position the grain vac as close to the area of work as much as possible, but in case there is a fair bit of hose that needs to be extended out, there's a bridge here that can help support it, so that way it's not just sitting there all wonky. So the fan creates that suction force and draws grain into the grain vac, and at the bottom of that compartment, that is where the auger begins, and it's folded up right now, so all these segments can be unfolded out, and it'll be a long auger that can be used to send the grain from this compartment into the truck. A pretty simple system in a nutshell.
Convenient. Yeah, make a difference totally.
Yep.
I see that. Okay.
So, and I mentioned vacuuming the floor. you have a variety of tools, including one that does have caster wheels, so that way you can run it around on the ground and make sure that everything's clean. A lot of farmers' pride on making sure that everything stays clean and tidy and maintained. So we're offering a wide variety of tools that can be used to get the job done in the right way possible.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're almost done with our tour.
This is...
Oh, this is...
Your love.
If this is the queen, this can be the queen. How about that?
Okay, yeah, it's a blue one. We have a green one there, but this is a blue one.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, how the farmers, they're very conscientious about some of their equipment. You know, picture a green combine in the field with green tractor and a blue grain cart. They say, no. Green would look good.
Exactly.
So,
that's exactly the reason why we paint our equipment green and yellow. Yes. But we have a red option.
Yep, and so do we with our grain carts as well.
Sure. Everything, whatever our customer needs, whatever they like.
But this unit is what we call a high-speed disc. It's a type of tillage equipment that requires a tractor to pull this through the field at a higher rate of speed than what most people would imagine. I would say most conventional tillage is somewhere in that 4 to 6 mile range. When we hook up to this, we want to at least double it. We're going 10 to 12, if not more, because not only are we digging up the soil, but we're also trying to create some mechanical force to help broadcast it to the sides. Right. So we need something with a heavy amount of horsepower that can generate a great amount of speed, and henceforth a high-speed disc. Discs on the cultivator henceforth the name. There's a variety of different tillage operations out there, such as cultivator shovels that are more of V, or they have more of a single tine tooth. But for this application, we have a concave disc. So as this is traveling through the field, the first row of gangs will make that first cut and will push it to one side, almost toss it, if you will, at the right optimal speed. I can't emphasize enough that 12 mile an hour range, 10 to 12, because you need to have that velocity built up and that momentum to toss the soil material. And then that second gang, notice that they're pitched in the opposite direction, so that kind of sends it back to where it was, but it's been broken up. And then the third pass back there is an option behind it. We can have either packer wheels, or we have a variety of other type of options, such as roller baskets. They're not as popular up here. You will see a lot more packer wheels because we're looking for a nicer finish with it. Those roller baskets would be able to help leave the ground a little bit more open in case we're trying to dry out material. But like I said, most guys are looking for a nicer finish with which those packer wheels will design. But I should back up. I got a little bit excited about the mechanics of this machine. We have a 326A high-speed disc, and just like we have different styles with our land rollers, depending on number of sections and widths, this is a 26-foot wide, 3-section. So on this machine, you'll have to pardon my antics. When it folds up into transport, the back, these large cylinders will raise up the whole assembly up into almost vertical, and then those longer cylinders that are extended there will fold forward, and then those wings will swing and be cradled into here. So 3-section, 26-footer. We offer units all the way up to 45 feet. And I will touch base again on the cultivators, where we mentioned that they would have 60, 70 foot wide cultivators. They can cover a lot of ground in one pass. But again, the speed they're going at is significantly less than what we have here. Because of the transmission capabilities of the tractors, we had to have what could be considered a pretty small implement in order to make sure that we can hit the road and boogie.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty amazing. Alrighty.
But depth-wise, with these machines, we're looking at anywhere between 2 to 4 inches of depth, and we can set that depth with these hydraulic stoppers that are on those cylinders connected to the wheels, as well as those stoppers that are on the the packer rollers to ensure that we're digging at the right depth. These farmers are looking for this product in a variety of applications, such as seedbed preparation or residue management. If you have a field that's you got all these corn stalks that have grown all year long, and now we have to worry about all that trash.
Right.
Don't mean it in a bad way, but all that residue that needs to be broken up and returned to the soil. There's a lot of nutritional value in that material too. So this way we go through and we can help prep the field for the next step. So we go through whether we want to set it anywhere between 2 to 4. Depends on what the farmer is looking for, the variety of conditions that they have, but we can use those stoppers to make sure that has a nice consistent pass all the way across the board.
Well, that's pretty amazing. So stay tuned for more information from Big Iron Show, and we thank you today for this beautiful tour. And definitely subscribe and push the notification button so you will see the videos first.